Alright. What's up guys, Dale here, also known as Havoc Trades. Today I'm going to be bringing you a breakdown video on NASDAQ, and we're also going to be touching upon a couple trades that I took earlier this week. Had a pretty good trading week with one of my students. We've been trading one-on-one pretty consistently lately, so that's been amazing. So let's get right into the breakdown. Looking at the monthly time frame here, we can clearly see that this broken higher high level did get broken, right? But price has not come down, give it a proper retest yet. Price in the weekly time frame is pretty bullish. We'll get there in a moment. I really only need these two monthly levels, this broken high and all-time high. That's the monthly range that I need to pay attention to moving forward. Looking in the weekly time frame here, right, we see within that range that price is pushing bullish up to the all-time highs currently, right? If we look at this current level here, right, in the weekly time frame, we see that price is maintaining this higher low point here, because this is pretty textbook. We can see the price created, whoops, gonna have to change the color here, right? We can see here in the weekly time frame that price created higher high, higher low, higher high, came back for a retest, and it was a quite aggressive retest. You can see this is a wick. This is a wick in the weekly time frame, but in the daily time frame and under, there's a high probability that this entire wick is structure, right? That's guaranteed what it's going to be, but nice higher low point. So price has a high probability of moving back up to these all-time highs of 20,983, and that's just based off of looking at the monthly range and looking how the weekly time frame is reacting within the monthly range, right? I like to find ranges and break it down from the highest time frame possible. This way I am moving with the overall direction. I don't want to be against the trend. The trend is your friend, but you got to know how to identify it and go with it, at least whichever way works best for you. You know, everything I'm showing you now is things that I've cultivated over the past 4 years, coming up on 5 years of my trading, and this is how I found easiest for me. All right, got this monthly range, got this weekly level marked out that price is creating as a higher low point. These are the key areas looking at going down in the smaller time frames. Right now that I'm in the daily time frame, we can see that price has given us a very nice liquidity grab under this weekly level that we already identified as treating it as a higher low point. You can see that price here in the daily time frame. We have a very clean level of support right here. Price broke under that level of support, and instead of breaking under that level of support and finding resistance, which a downtrend would do, price ended up breaking right back above, finding no resistance at all, and then this is what we call a liquidity grab. Let me go ahead and take that off real quick. So when price just spikes under a level, then breaks right back above, in my eyes, that's called liquidity grab or liquidity sweep of a level, and is a high probability price to start going to move in the opposite direction that the sweep happens in, right? Obviously, this sweep, based off the weekly time frame, is nothing but a higher low point, and it's more like equal lows if you look at where the weekly close is. But if you look at the daily time frame where that wick is, this is more of an aggressive liquidity grab, right? Time frame correlation is extremely key. So if we keep going here, looking at this range here, we see that price is pulling back to this previous lower high point, right? Because we can see that price in the daily time frame was trending down, and we identified that that's only pulling down to this weekly high low point, which has got maintained as support, right? So in the daily time frame, we're trying to situate if buyers really want to go back up to these highs, because we see that price created higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Liquidity grab, retracing the previous lower high point. Now this is extremely key. This is a very high probability spot for a trade, because in the setup right here, or we're at here at this key level, we're either going to be looking for price to find resistance and sell off, come back down to those lows that were just created, or we're going to look for price to go ahead and break back above, maintain support, and then keep going back up to the all-time highs, right? Now buys would be aligned with what the monthly and the weekly time frame are telling us, right? Right now we're looking at the daily time frame. If we look at that monthly time frame, let's get this out of our way real quick. If we look at the monthly time frame, price is bullish, right? We see that price is creating higher high, higher low, higher high. Eventually we'll need to come down and create this higher low, but now we need to look at the smaller time frames other than the monthly time frame to show, does price want to start selling off yet? Right, got the monthly, go down to the weekly. Weekly is still pretty bullish. Price is creating higher highs and higher lows. Right, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We're potentially pulling back up to this higher high point. Going to the daily time frame, this is extremely key right here. Because as I said, pulling up to this area where we are now, drawing out a quick zone here, right? Price is either going to come up, find resistance, sell off, or in a break back above, find support and keep going up to the highs. Now let's continue down into smaller time frames, right? Because we've really been in the higher time frames. I know I've kind of referred it as smaller. When I say that, I mean smaller than the previous time frame I was just looking at. So if I say smaller than the monthly, I'm obviously talking about the weekly and the daily. I really consider my small time frames 4 hour and under, my high time frames daily and above. Now looking at this daily level, right, and let me go ahead and clean it up just a bit. I really want to focus at this area here. There we go. Perfect. So that's that key area I'm looking at on the daily time frame. Obviously I explained why. So now let's look at the 4 hour time frame. Right, and the 4 hour is staying above that previous daily area, but we got to be careful because 4 hour is in a potential shift. Like when I say we're in a high probability spot on the daily time frame, right, this key area, because we're either going to see a massive fall or a massive push up, right? Each time frame that I go down now, I have to see how structure is trying to hint at what we're trying to do. 4 hour time frame, right? We can see that price created higher high, higher low, maintained equal highs but created a little higher high, went ahead and broke under the previous higher low point, created a lower low. Right now we're at a potential point where we can make a lower high point and start falling, right? Or price disrespects that area of potential resistance, breaks back up, and then we start seeing those buys come in. Very, very clean structure here. So because I'm on the 4 hour, I do want to mark out this level of support. There we go. Right, that's the 4 hour potential lower high point here. Going down to the 1 hour here, price does have a gap down here that has not been filled. You can see the 1 hour candle came down and spiked it, but I like to see my gaps have solid candles close in front of it. For example, right here we see we have a gap right here, and notice how the candles to the right of it close a solid body filling that gap right here, and that when those sell candles came down, filled that gap fully. Right, so if price ends up maintaining that 4 hour lower high point here, we would also be looking for equal highs here on the 1 hour. Right, so looking at the 1 hour based off that 4 hour, knowing what we know for the daily in between the monthly time frame as well for the higher time frames, we know this is that key area, this box right here, that we want to see price either stay above or stay under. But right now the 4 hour / 1 hour is giving us a potential shift. So this 4 hour and 1 hour is going to help dictate what's going to happen for those higher time frames. Either we're going to see price maintain, either we're going to see price maintain the lower high point, or we're going to see price break above and find support. Sorry, that was my trading account that popped up real quick. We don't need to hide that. You see the account right there is up $800 on that challenge. Not too bad. Had a pretty decent week. I started out in drawdown, brought that account up. Actually, can we just pull up the stats real quick? Perfect. So you can see here, I started the previous week on this challenge pretty aggressively down, hit my daily loss limit of $1,000. Now what's nice about Top Step is if you hit your daily loss limit, they'll just deactivate your account for the day and you can start trading the next day. No problem, but you can't lose max than $2,000. And I also traded just way too aggressively. So following days, I obviously smartened up, learned my lesson about risk management, had some better days, made a little bit of money the back, went down from 48,996, so basically 49,000 up to 49,000, just about 49,700, 49,985. Then we had another losing day, 49,635, but still up in profit, so can't complain. Following day, 49,862, and then we finished off the week at 50,873. So a slow week. Obviously, we started out in drawdown, took some of the time building myself out of drawdown, but overall a very good week, you know. And if we go down and look at some stats here, average winning trade, my smallest winning trade, 20 bucks. That's like me closing a trade that I see reversing on me. My biggest trade right now is $2,210. Very nice. Winning trade percentage, I'm obviously not the biggest winner, and obviously it's been 1 week of trading, but my risk management was keeping me alive, because you can see my biggest winner is 2,210. My biggest loss is $216, right? And what makes up for the low win rate, I mean, again, it's only 1 week of stats, so I don't even care that this is 14%. Give it a little bit of time, it's going to go up. You look at the risk reward ratio, on average, I'm getting 7.91 R on my money, so that's not too bad. But overall, that's what I'm looking at NQ. That's what those are trades I'm looking taking moving forward. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram or Discord. Other than that, have a great evening.